offering 24/7 monitoring, video surveillance, fire and flood protection. You'll sleep a little better once the job is done. Shamrock Security Systems for over 31 years. 629-3223. Get a 100% free quote from Shamrock Security. 629-3223.
All right, 76 degrees, 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Looks like it's a beautiful second day of school in Marion County, so be careful out there. You know the school buses will be out there, and you know the rules. And make sure you follow them. Otherwise, you're going to be in court. That's a great way to introduce our next guest. Judge Robert Landt is in the studio. He has a list of credentials. If I read them all, he wouldn't have any time to talk. But I'll tell you, he's an attorney, the co-founder of the Landt & Landt law firm. He's a Marion County court judge, created the first Marion County misdemeanor drug court. He's a member of the Marion County Heroin Opioid Task Force. Oh, that's a current thing, isn't it? He's a member of the Kiwanis Club of Ocala, a 30-year member of Blessed Trinity Catholic Church, and I'll just stop right there. There's a whole lot of other stuff here, but we want to talk to you. So good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you this morning, Larry?
Good. Thank you for coming in to explain the amendments on the ballot, by the way, during the Veterans Show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things I think that when we go to the voting booth, we sort of know who we want to vote for, but those amendments are a big curve. And when there's so many of them, it's like, oh my gosh. And now that we don't have to worry about that till November, right? That's not
right. That's on the November ballot.
Okay. So how's the campaign going?
Campaign's going great. It's almost over. Early voting starts Saturday.
Saturday in our county, yeah. It started yesterday in some other counties.
Some counties, yeah. So,
and it was over 500,000 people already sent in the mail-in votes.
Yeah. So it's the vote's becoming huge. The mail-in vote is huge, and the early vote is huge. So the election will probably be well over half over by the time we get through this last week of early voting.
The job you do as a judge is invisible to us unless we've gone to court for one reason or another. It's not usually in the news unless it's a high-profile case. So how do any other elected official usually they're in the news, every vote they do, everything they do. So how do you help us understand what needs to be done and how you will do it, or how you have done it, I should say?
It's difficult. Now, one of the things that we do, for example, Tuesday afternoon, I'll have summary claims cases, which are lawsuits under $5,000. We set all those for 1 o'clock, and there's about a 30-minute video that we show before court that is aimed at the people who have no lawyer, pro se litigants. It shows them what the process is for the summary claims and what the trial will be like, so that if they've never been to court, they have an opportunity to see what it's going to be like, and then you can go and watch the video again if you want. But generally, if you watch that video, it gives you kind of a good idea about what your trial is going to be like in summary claims court. For the rest of it, it's very difficult. We try to do a little bit of outreach here and there, but the limitations on what a judge can talk about and what a judge can do are very strict. So it's difficult to let people know exactly what they're going to be in for and what's going to happen.
I think the irony with the public at large is that we want a judge who's going to be tough on criminals, and yet easy on our family members. What are your thoughts on that statement?
I think that statement is fairly accurate. I think, though, that there are some changes now, and what we're seeing is, and what I've been advocating for the last 6 years, is what we call smart justice. We've kind of entered into a system where the communities almost can't afford the cost of our judicial system, especially on the criminal side, the way we've been acting. And so smart justice is a process where we try to evaluate each criminal case individually and try to make decisions with sentencing that are designed to keep the offender from reoffending.
Oh, really? Okay.
And at the same time, to try to enhance their ability to be a good citizen. In county court, we deal with, on the criminal side, we deal with misdemeanors, which are thefts of less than $300, DUI, possession of some drug paraphernalia, possession of marijuana, less than 20 grams. And so most of those individuals have made a mistake. done something stupid or done something because they're desperate. And so if we can re-educate and help people with their addiction issues, if we can help people find help for their financial situations, then we can direct them away from crime and at the same time preserve their family and their ability to financially support themselves.
Well, that's a very compassionate approach. I like that. And I think a lot of people probably like that. So do you have to differentiate between whether they're desperate or whether they just did something stupid? Does that make a difference in the judgment?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, you also have people that are just criminals. And so what you have to do is you have to look at each case, not just the papers, but you got to look behind the case to see what's going on, try to find out. So, and that's one of the more difficult aspects of smart justice. It requires everybody in the system, the court, the prosecutors, the defense lawyers. It requires everybody to spend a little bit more time on each case to try to figure out what's happening here and why is it happening, and then to take that into consideration when you are determining what sentence is going to be.
Do the courtroom TV shows help us or hurt us in understanding what you do?
I think some of the TV shows have a fairly accurate description of the involvement of the judge in the process, but for the most part, they're like any TV show. They dramatize that which they think will sell commercials, and so I don't think they really do a good job in many instances of showing exactly what the judge's role is and what the amount of involvement that a judge can or cannot have because of the requirements of always being neutral, unbiased, and trying to evaluate. So most of the work that we do that's involved in those cases is behind the scenes, working with the file and working with staff to try to figure out what's the best way to go with each case.
You know, I know a guy who spent some time in jail, and I know him through the show here. And he wrote a book, and I helped him put the book together. And in the book, he starts off being very angry at the judicial system, and then a light goes off, and he realizes that this is his wake-up call, that he can give up alcohol, which was his big problem. And he's actually by the end of the book, he's actually thanking the judicial system for, I guess, putting him in a place where he thought, well, I might spend my whole life here if I don't stop my behavior. And it's a really eye-opener kind of a book. Do you get that kind of feedback ever? There's one right there, right from our own county. But do you get feedback from people you've prosecuted? What do you call it? You've judged?
Yeah, from cases that I've overseen, especially with misdemeanor drug court, which I started, which is a part of smart justice. And the purpose and the idea behind misdemeanor drug court is to give people an opportunity to get off the drugs and to clean up, and keep their record because their charges get dropped if they're successful. And I've had a number of my participants in misdemeanor drug court tell me and give me success stories that they've gotten it straight and they're able to have a much better life.
Do you also oversee juvenile cases?
Nope, I don't do any juvenile cases. Okay. We do civil cases under $15,000, which are primarily a lot of collections, a lot of landlord and tenant, and a lot of small business matters. Okay. And, I spent 25 years representing individuals and small businesses, both in and out of county court. And so that really helps to understand what's behind every case when it comes up. And that's been a very great benefit.
Do we say your name correctly, by the way?
Robert Landt.
Landt, okay. Who's the other Landt in the law firm?
Mary Kay is my wife. We practiced law together for 20 years. Okay. She's a family law lawyer, and she continues to practice law.
Allow me to not say anything, if you don't mind, and then I'll give you an opportunity for as long as you want to talk to the listeners and tell them everything you think they should know, and include in there, if you could, a website or a Facebook page, something you've got set up so we can learn more about you. Okay.
My Facebook is Robert Landt for judge. I've served as a judge for the last 5.5 years. Prior to that, I practiced law, as I said, for about 25 years, primarily doing civil practice. Currently, the docket that I have is all civil cases. That'll probably remain that way for at least a year, maybe longer, depending upon what the legislature does and how we can divide up the cases. There's 4 county judges, and we're trying to work to make sure that we're able to provide all of the citizens with a good opportunity and a good experience when they come to court. I think that my community leadership, as you discussed, and past president of Rotary and Habitat for Humanity, I was a vice president. Those things have all helped me both with continuing to be a community leader and with being able to understand the individuals who come to court. And so I've greatly enjoyed being a county judge for the last 5.5 years, and I would obviously like to continue to do that. And so I would ask for everybody's vote, either early voting or August 28th, when the actual election date is.
Absolutely. So I have the silly moment of our interview, which is the left field questions. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here are your left field questions. Do you own a fish tank?
I do not.
Okay. Can't take that any further. Do you own a hammock?
I do not.
You don't have a hammock in the yard?
I used to have a hammock in the yard, but it belonged to my son and it disappeared.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I used to have a fish tank, but it belonged to my son. And after we flushed a number of fish, we finally stopped.
No. All right. Let's see if I get the third one. Do you have a basketball hoop in your yard?
I do have a basketball hoop in my yard.
Do you use it?
I do not use it anymore. I coached basketball.
Oh, you did?
AAU. And then I also taught coached basketball for 5th and 6th graders and played basketball in the front yard with my 2 boys. And about, I'm going to guess 15 years ago, we were playing in the yard, and my boys had to call their mom and say, Dad broke his collarbone falling down, playing basketball with us. Can you come home? And so that sort of ended my my career.
Wow.
I continued to coach, but I tried not to break any more bones.
Well, it's an honor to get to know you, Your Honor. Thank you for coming in here. And how cool is it to be called Your Honor? Is that cool?
That's awesome. That's very nice.
Well, good luck with everything. Thank you for sharing your time with us today, and come back.
Thank you very much. I would love to.
All right, we will take a little break, and we will be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Hi, this is Tish. I've been with the station a long time, and the best part of my job is the nice people I work with. My decades of experience gives me the background to help businesses reach their goals. Whether your business is large or small, before you make your next marketing decision, give me a call. The number is 352-732-8000, or email me at Tisha, Tishia, at WOCA.com. Working together, we can come up with a marketing plan that works.
Hey, baby. It's rodeo time in Ocala. August 31st, September the 1st, 7:30 nightly. The superstars of professional rodeo return to the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. The 36th annual Ocala Shrine Pro Rodeo brings you the best of man, muscle, and a stampede of horsepower. For tickets and information, call 352-402-8808 or check us out at OcalaShrineRodeo.com. Ocala, get ready to ride.
Late summertime is the best time to plant trees. Most young trees like hot weather, and they really love these rainy afternoons. And the best place to buy your trees is Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala, where the selection is huge and the prices are almost too low to believe. Right now, you can buy 2 extra large number 5 size trees delivered, planted, and guaranteed with a record-breaking low price of $139. Just $139 for 2 trees